Everyone, welcome back to Build a Better Adventure. In this particular video, we're going to be talking about the Black Star science fiction tabletop role-playing game, which happens to be the third game system that I've chosen for my MythicCon West event occurring Friday at 3 p.m. So what is Black Star? It's an independently created role-playing game by Lakeside Games. I found it on TTRPG, and I'll make sure that there's a link in the description if you want to go directly to the rules space. Black Star is a science fiction themed rules light 2d6 engine, and basically for trying to accomplish anything, you roll 2d6, you add your attribute. If you get a 9 or over, you succeed. And instead of hit points, you have this thing that's called resolve, but resolve can actually be used and spent to get a success with some complications. For my adventure, my Black Star expansion is effectively an easy to play Firefly meets The Expanse from a storytelling perspective. I also like the notion of adding character quirks into the system, and we'll show you how that might impact the game itself. So we're starting with 6 characters that I've pre-generated, many of whom have quirks that can force me as the GM to change the story outright. And we're going to go over what those each character quirks are. The 6 starting characters effectively are a captain, a pilot, a mercenary, a mechanic, an alien, and a co-pilot slash co-captain. The captain and pilot are critical to allow the game to move forward, but I'm hoping to pack the table with as many of these characters as we can get. So like I said before, Black Star is a rules light engine. I fit every single character sheet into one page. This is kind of an example of this. So of the things that you can find, there are 10 attribute values, which really account for all the characters' actions. And we put it right there. There are talents, and I've added all the talent descriptions so that there's nothing that you have to look up. You can immediately assess what are the things that I can do. Talents are ways to bend the Black Star rule, which is, again, that whole 2d6 plus your attribute. If you get a 9 or higher, you succeed. These talents kind of add a little bit of flavor to how you can kind of slightly bend those rules, and they're tied to either your gear or your archetype. So in Captain Andrew Lux, he's a human diplomat expert. The diplomat and expert are the archetypes that he has, and all of his talents are from the diplomat or expert tree. The next thing that we're including is a character quirk. This is not in the base Black Star game system, but this is where the players can actually do things that will change the story in a more dramatic way. We'll go into what each one of these quirks are for each character. The last thing is the rules recap, the background of the character, as well as a general idea of how to play the character. So again, if you're like, I've never played Black Star before, doesn't matter. Come on to the table. This is all you need, and we can get you up and running super quickly in order to start playing the game. So let's do a quick overview of all the characters' quirks. Duran Van Zands is the mercenary, and his quirk is loyalty. So his armor ignores the first 4 wounds instead of the normal 2. It kind of means that he's kind of immediately in the fight and making sure that he's kind of the last person to leave out of the area. The next one is Captain Luck. He has a lucky coin, and twice per game, the captain can flip the coin and ask 1 yes or no question. The GM has to answer it, and he gets a +3 to his next roll. Should anything happen to the lucky coin, where the lucky coin is removed, he can no longer perform this quirk. Dexter Hollis, nicknamed Dex, is the pilot. I would highly encourage a person who feels very creative to pick up Dex, because as he tells stories, and he might even say something like, hey, you know, when the Apex Corporation built their starships, the outside hull was really strong, but the interior walls were really kind of just fairly thin, and you could almost just break right through them without explosives. I may go, that sounds like an interesting war story, roll to see if it's still true. And so he rolls 2d6. If he gets a 9 or higher, hey, guess what? I have to change anything that I have that goes against what his story is and make that be the truth. So if you're feeling a little on the creative side, make sure you pick up the pilot. The last 3 characters, let's go over their quirks. We have Mara Byrne. She's the mechanic. She's hunted and skilled. So unfortunately, Mara has two bounty hunters who are going after her crimes from her past, and the fact that she's skilled means that when she rolls on her savant skill, you can only roll a 1 to 3. What this means for 1 to 3 is that you take something that would take normally an hour or longer to do from a mechanics roll, and she can do it in 1 to 3 minutes. The next character is Arg Fendor, which everyone nicknames Fender. He's the alien. He has a puffed chest, and he will do anything to protect Mara at all costs. As long as he is with Mara, then his strength is a 5, which is unheard of since in all the other attributes, everyone else has a 1 to 3. As long as Fender is with Mara, his strength is a 5, which is what he adds to his 2d6 roll to see if he succeeds on strength checks. The last character is Kamina Rook, who has extreme jetpack training as her quirk, which means that her jetpack collapses fully into her clothes and people won't see it. But also, the first round when you drop in from jetpack, as long as you weren't firing into the combat, surprises other people that are in melee or shooting combat where you land. If you made it this far, please don't hesitate to do all those social media things. Leave me a comment, like, follow, subscribe, and shoot me a message over at info@buildabetteradventure.com. We do have, beyond the scope of the individual characters, a section with dealing with flying your particular spacecraft, which I'm in the process of 3D printing. And I'm looking for ways that I might be able to integrate it more than just once in the adventure. If you're coming to Mythicon, have nothing to do at 3 p.m. on Friday, come on down to the table. I'd love to have more people to play this particular game with, and we'll even come up with new pre-generated characters on the spot if we need to. Take care. I'll see you in the next one.